What are you doing? I'm stimming. Still what now? Stimming. Stimming. Simming? Stimming. Hold up. Swimming? Yeah, that's right. I'm swimming. I'm swimming in my lounge room. Stimming. Stim-ing. So why do you need to do the stimming? Stimming's a normal thing for autistic people, okay? It's not anything weird, right? I do it sometimes to regulate when I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed or overstimulated, a bit anxious or whatever. And sometimes I stim to communicate. So stimming really can be anything from like a way of soothing, regulating, relaxing. What do you got there? Play-Doh? Play-Doh? It's a therapy thing. How do you not know about this? You look exactly like me. Huh? We look nothing alike. Who even let you into this house? I have no idea. What is up, my peeps? Great to see you. On this video, we're going to talk about how you can avoid autistic burnout, meltdowns, shutdowns with a thing we like to call stimming. Let's do this. Hey, I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy, and I was diagnosed autistic later in life. Since my diagnosis, I've devoted my time to advocating for the autistic community, and I do that through my blogs, my podcasts, and these YouTube videos. And my goal is to raise the level of understanding and acceptance of autistic people right across the planet. So if that's something you'd be interested in being a part of and learning some more, well, thank you so much. Thank you to the people that have taken the time already to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't, I'd absolutely appreciate it if you'd not only learn some stuff about autism, but also help me reach more people by clicking that subscribe button and ringing the notifications bell so you never miss another episode on my YouTube channel. You can also reach out to me on my socials. So if you'd like to join my beautiful little social media community, well, do it. You'll find me on Facebook. The Orion Kelly page is waiting to be followed. I'm also on Instagram. The other social media platforms you can seek me out include Twitter and the world famous TikTok. You want to check out some of my quirky autistic videos? You're in for a treat. It's a review, not some of my words. I would never say that about my own work. It's crap. And if you'd love to check out more of my work, you want to read some of the blogs, listen to the podcasts, watch the YouTube videos, get some info on me, maybe even just send me a message, you should go to my website, orionkelly.com.au. One-stop shop, all my content, and as I said, I'd love to hear from you. So check out the website. So let's get down to our chat about stimming and how encouraging, allowing, and just doing the activity of stimming can help you to avoid autistic meltdown, autistic shutdown, and even more seriously, autistic burnout. So the first thing is, okay, great. What is stimming? Autistic people do not stim for nothing, right? We are not stimming to look fidgety or restless or nervous or anxious or to annoy people. We're stimming for many different reasons, but at its core, it's a self-stimulatory action, okay? So it's there to help us regulate, to help us process, to help us communicate. The world around us with autistic brains is very different. It's as simple as that. Fact. An autistic person is autistic because they have an autistic brain. And when you have a different brain, you're clearly going to experience life differently, right? If you don't have a neurotypical brain, a non-autistic brain, well, your brain does all the work. So you're clearly going to experience, process, receive, digest, understand the world around you completely differently. So the first thing that's important to remember is there's a reason for doing it. Autistic people stim for a reason, and we've talked about it. It's a self-stimulatory behavior. It can be used, like I said, if you're oversensitized, if you're just feeling a bit over the world around you, maybe you're undersensitized. It doesn't really matter why, but you're regulating, you're soothing, okay? And the other facet, like I've talked about, is to process. Not a lot of people talk about this side of stimming. From my point of view, stimming can absolutely be a way of processing information. I may hear you when you're talking to me better, more effectively, if I don't look at you, if it looks like I'm not listening, but I'm actually looking away and stimming. That looks like someone who's not attentive, but for me, I'm processing better than I would if I had to stop stimming, try to keep my body still and look at you. That takes a lot more effort away from listening to you. Oh, I better look at you in the eye. Don't move, don't move, don't move. I mean, all I remember now is don't look in the eye and don't move. And the other option is to communicate. My wife can pick up some of my stimming cues when it's more like a bad sign. You know, the agitation or the overwhelmed. A lot of times, those signs that I can give if I start to do things a bit faster or harder or more aggressive, or I start to, rub my hair and my face, that's when usually my wife knows I've been triggered or I'm going to get triggered or it's time for me to go somewhere and have a break. So these are really important, not only for autistic people, but for parents, carers, friends, family, and partners of autistic people. You can use stimming to your advantage. You can look out for the signs and realize what they need. And by giving them what they need, it's a win-win, not only for them, but for you and your family and the environment. I mean, the environment around you. It won't help the sun or the planet or the atmosphere. And if you're hungry for more academic information, more of an academic conversation on the inner workings of autistic stimming, you've come to the wrong place. I'm not an academic. I'm not a PhD candidate. I'm just an autistic guy sharing my lived experiences. So I can't help you with that. But if you want to know what stimming is like for an autistic person and how it can help you avert burnout, shut down, meltdown, well, you've come to the right place. I don't personally think there's a difference between stimming toys and stimming tools, because really a stimming toy is used as a tool for an autistic person to stim, to regulate, to soothe, to communicate. Okay, and the next thing I want to move on from is this idea that stimming toys, stimming tools are for autistic kids. No, that's not true. They're absolutely for autistic kids, but they're also for autistic adults. So the idea that you somehow grow out of the need to stim, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Given I have a lived experience, I can tell you, I think I probably stim more as an adult. And look, I always put it down to there's more stresses in life. As you become older, you have more stresses in your life. You're going to want to stim more. To me, that just sounds reasonable and logical. And what's really important to note too is a lot of autistic kids can get specific autistic tools which are kind of like toys and can take them into, say, friends' houses or the community or to school, and other kids go, hey, I want to play with that. I want one of those. And simply put, from my point of view, the first thing that I think is, okay, buddy, yep, you can play with that. Just hang on a second. I'm just going to zap your brain and make you autistic. It's like, no, you don't. A neurotypical child doesn't just get to say, hey, that stimming tool looks fun. I want it. I want to go. Share. Can I have one? And the next thing you know, every neurotypical kid has a stimming tool, like a fidget spinner, at school. They didn't realize what they were invented for people who are classed in a minority of disabled people, a neurological developmental disability, have tools designed for them to help them, right, actually achieve a sense of regulation, soothing, self-stimulation. They use them in places where they need them, stress environments, like at friends and school, right? And then the rest of the kids think, well, that's not fair. I want one too. They bring them to school and then they get banned, and autistic kids can't even take them, which, by the way, is actually a breach of most laws in most countries, I would have thought, in regards to discrimination of people with disabilities. Go ahead, schools. Go ahead and ban those toys that are stimming tools from school. But ban an autistic kid from taking it to school? Guess what? You're gonna get a call. That's discrimination. So I think that rant's over, but it just frustrates me. Having an autistic son, things are required to help autistic kids thrive in life. Things that neurotypical kids do not need are not required for them. But then they somehow feel they're entitled to share in the use of those toys because, well, he brought it to school. Yeah, but he's autistic and it's a tool. He brought it to school. I want to play with his, or he's got to share it. I want one of those. And then, we've got to take it off everyone then, No, it's a frustrating situation. And I guess the point is, because these are super useful. Autistic people stim in moments of need, in moments they absolutely need to either do something they know will help them soothe themselves, regulate, process, communicate, or if they do not, they will not be able to do any of those things. And then what will happen? An autistic kid could melt down right there in the classroom, right there at the friend's house, right there at the park, right there at home. An autistic adult, maybe later in life, might also be shamed out of doing that, and they may have a meltdown in the workplace. It's happened to me. Or worse still, it might build up, and then they have autistic burnout, which is the end of the road. Now, the first stimming tool I want to talk about is from my peeps out west that I met in Sydney, ironically, Perth, Melbourne, meet in Sydney, at the Autism Spectrum Australia, or Aspect Annual Recognition Awards. So these guys got an award in the Gold Logie category, the Different Brilliant category for the, I think it's under 21s, and I got the award for over 21s. Anyway, Alyssa and Lachlan, brother and sister from WA, won that amazing award for their unbelievably phenomenal work. These are what we're talking about. These are kid entrepreneurs. And what they are doing is creating significant impact in their local community. Okay, they have a website which you 100% have to go and check out. In fact, let's have a look at it now. And you'll find Alyssa and Lachlan's website at lyssislanyards.com.au. So lysslanyards.com.au. And well, brother and sister, Lissy and Lockie, they're proud autistic siblings, and they started the business to make the lanyards, to make their dreams of running their own business come true. Now, they hand make their products, especially for all their customers. And what I think is kind of amazing is these young Aussies are not only creating handcrafted products for the world at large, for presumably young autistic people, and making a difference in their lives, but they're also providing income to not only themselves, but to charities. So they're donating money to charities. You can check it all out on their website. Like, seriously, they should have got every award on the night. And as you scroll through the website, you're going to see really just some phenomenal products. There's too many to mention, but go to the website and check it out. They're made with high quality, durable materials. And the great thing is they feel and look awesome. They're doing phenomenal things. They've got things like the bubblegum bead lanyard. You can get personalized pieces, strawberry bracelet. Look, it's adding. There's so many products coming online and they're absolutely phenomenal. And I just happen to have one right here. Hey, thanks, Alyssa and Lockie. I appreciate it. What I love about this from Alyssa and Lockie is, look, not only is it cool looking, I mean like legitimately cool looking, but it's personalized. So they've got my name on it. Okay, these really kind of, they're soft and they're hard and they're pressurable and pushable, and I really dig that. There's cool little balls on each end. I don't know, it's like, what's cool about this is it fits between your hands. Kids or adults, fits between your hand. You can clip things onto it like a lanyard, or you don't have to, and you can just hold it. You know, people have those things like worry beads. It's kind of like that, but it's really cool because, you know, not only, like they say, they're high quality and they're durable, but that has that feeling, like with my therapy, that you can, it really helps you kind of, it's not like a stress ball, but it's something you can use like that, but also you can just kind of stim with it in your fingers. I know it's a bit noisy, but yeah, so it's a great piece. So thank you to Alyssa and Lockie for my own personalized piece. And what's great about it is it's handmade right here in Australia by young autistic people, making a genuine difference to the lives of other autistic people and charities. So unbelievable. Well done, guys. Check out their website and those phenomenal sensory tools. Okay, so the next stimming tool I want to talk about is, I don't know, what do you call it? It's a popping pad. I mean, I've seen a lot of people have these. So basically you can get them in circles and squares and all sorts of shapes. And I'm sure you get it. It's a bit like that bubble wrap stuff. You basically pop through. So you push it through. From my point of view, I bought a couple of these, one for my autistic son, one for me, and neither of us used them. Neither of us like them. It's not something that I'm saying no one should get, because every tool works differently for every autistic person. Just like all autistic people are different, we don't all like the same sensory tools. And that's another misconception. Oh, you're autistic, you all must have fidget spinners. It's like, well, no. The way we all process and stim is completely different. I may stim more using my voice and my body than other things, right? So a popping pad for me, I mean, I know they're kind of popular. I think from my point of view, like for me and my son, they were just completely irrelevant and useless. There was nothing about them that helped us. In fact, I kind of found them a bit anxious. And also the one I got, it didn't have much give. Like I didn't have to push very hard to get them in or out. So I found that kind of like just annoying. And I know you can get different levels, I think, of resistance, but still, it's an example again of another thing that you may go judgmentally. What is that? How is this going to help you? Well, it doesn't help me, but it does help some autistic people because not only the sound of the popping, but the feeling of the popping on their fingers. So that is another sensory tool that you may want to look into if you have an autistic person in your life and they like that kind of sound and feeling of the popping, like bubble wrap. Now you saw this at the start of the video. Okay, it's a bit weird. My therapy. This is one of my favorite stimming tools. And there's a couple of reasons why. And we've talked about this. Okay, so the therapy is very different to your standard kind of putty or molding clay or whatever you get at just standard everyday shops, toy shops, retail shops. This is something I actually get on a specialist kind of website, okay? And I think therapy is used for all sorts of rehabilitation type exercises for all sorts of people. It's not just an autistic thing. Why it works for me, a couple of reasons. Like I said, I really like the feeling of stretching it, and notice it's very hard when you're stretching it. It's very hard to break it. And when it breaks, after lots and lots of stretches, you can roll it back in a ball and you can start again. Also, if you're really feeling just really agitated as an autistic person, you can just keep it in your hand. No one can even see it. And you can just crush it in your hand. Now, if your hands are down here, all it looks like you're doing is you're just barely moving your hands, right? You're just molding it and holding it in your hand, or you're stretching it, or you're playing with it. So something like this I found really useful. You may not. But therapy is not only great for adults, it's great for kids because it comes in all different colors, all different sizes, all different consistencies. So for autistic kids, it may need more fine motor skills strength, more particular finger and hand strength. It may help with their handwriting or their coordination or whatever challenges they may be facing. This might be perfect for them. So just a bit of therapy, they can squish and squash. And it's cool too, it bounces. So this is something worth checking out. The next sensory tool I want to talk about is already right in front of you, but it's basically blending into my shirt. My 7-year-old autistic son loves these things. What does he call them? Wiki sticks. This is the great thing about autistic people. Everyone's different. For me, I touch them and it's a bit like touching, wiki sticks, it's a bit like touching a candle wick, right? It kind of has a waxy kind of sticky feeling. And I think my son uses them to shape letters to help him with the alphabet and learning letters and writing letters. And you may even be communicating something as a child, which is, I want to be left alone or I'm overwhelmed. So this is really another very interesting stimming tool. And also, I guess, from an OT point of view, another potential tool to help autistic kids overcome certain challenges. Wiki sticks. You actually feel like you've been fondling a candle. That did not come out right. Nevertheless, my fingers feel a bit wicky and sticky, which is interesting because that's the name of the product, you idiot. What did you expect? But my absolute favorite piece of information about stimming tools for parents and carers of autistic kids, from my experience as an autistic adult, and also from my experience as a dad of an autistic kid, and this may be something you can really relate to. You could go out, research, find, spend money on, maybe a lot of money, on some high-end phenomenal stimming tool to which your child will touch once and then find a rock on the street, and the rock on the street is the best stimming toy they've ever had, and they have it in 5 years' time, and the $4 billion stimming tool you imported from 7 different countries is still in the cupboard. How good is that? How good are autistic kids? Hey, I've got an awesome stimming tool for you, buddy. You're going to absolutely love it. Oh, what's that? A stick. I found a stick. So don't take it personally. It's not an exact science, stimming. Stimming tools aren't an exact science. What if I told you that I'm one of those people? One of my favorite stimming tools that I've ever had, I found inside a shoe a shoe that I bought to wear on my feet. That's what shoes are for, idiot. One of my most used, most favorite stimming tools I found on a new pair of shoes. So here it is, my friends. This tiny little bluey thing. Guess what? It fits perfectly between my finger and thumb. It fits perfectly in my hands. I never drop it. I'm drunk today. That's the differences. I'm not drunk. On life, you know what? This thing is basically a small indication of what the sole of the shoe will feel like. And they attached it to like a part of the shoe that you can cut off, right? So it's like, hey, push me to find out what it feels like to wear these shoes, which frankly, from an autistic point of view, I'm not entirely sure how I can work out what a shoe will feel like on my foot by getting this and putting it between my fingers. Oh yeah, that's what it feels like on my foot. Woo! I better try this hat on. Hang on a second. Let me put it on my ass and see if it fits. Point is, just go with the flow. Stimming is significantly important for an autistic person. It helps regulate, soothe, communicate, process, express. This is the difference between having a meltdown, a shutdown, or building up to an autistic burnout. The difference between experiencing that and not is allowing things like autistic stimming. Not shaming, not judging, not sending them away, not telling them, stop fidgeting so much with that stimming tool, embracing it, encouraging it. I just think it's really important that autistic people give themselves some slack. It's okay to be different. It's okay to stim in public, in the workplace. Hey, I'd rather be stimming in the workplace than melting down and getting fired for being autistic, right? And parents, it's okay for your kids to stim on the bus or at school or at friends. It doesn't matter if you think they're going to look a bit different. They are different. They're autistic. Take home message, embrace the stim. Don't look down on it. Don't judge it. Don't try and turn it off. Let your kids or yourself stim. It helps. Helps them, helps you. Hey, if you'd like to see more of my videos, I would love it if you would check out my videos and comment, share, rate, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button. Until my next video, thank you so much for watching. We'll talk soon.